Until you bring the unconscious into daylight, it will steer your life, and you'll mistake it for fate. What if the chaos of the world, its insults, its setbacks, its relentless unpredictability, had no power over you? Picture a life where no person, no circumstance, no external force can disturb your inner calm. The world throws its storms at you. A cutting remark, a plan that unravels a glance that stings. And yet there you stand, centered, unshaken, as if the storm is a breeze passing through you, leaving nothing but stillness in its wake. What secret do those who master this stillness truly hold? We descend into the shadows of the mind, a realm where emotional alchemy turns the raw pain of reaction into the gold of inner freedom. Inspired by Carl Jung's wisdom and the Stoic path to serenity, we'll uncover how facing your hidden triggers can set you free. Prepare to look inward, where the true storm brews and where true peace begins. We've all felt it. The sudden flare of anger when someone cuts us off in traffic. The sting of hurt when a co-worker's passive-aggressive remark lands. The creeping self-doubt that arrives with a stranger's odd glance. These moments often feel as though they arrive from the outside, as if the world itself is acting upon us. But what if these reactions aren't about the world at all? What if they are mirrors reflecting what lies buried inside? Most people live in a constant state of reaction. Their emotions hijacked by every slight, every failure, every unforeseen turn. A harsh word sparks fury. A missed opportunity breeds despair. We become prisoners of our own responses, believing the external holds the key to our peace. But what if the key lies not in bending the world to our will, but in understanding ourselves? Carl Jung, the visionary who plumbed the depths of the human psyche, understood this truth. He once wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." When someone calls you foolish and anger surges, it isn't their words that burn. It's the fear within you that they might be right. When you feel wounded by being ignored, it isn't their disregard that hurts. It's your own unspoken need for validation. Two people can face the same event, a betrayal, a loss, a failure, and walk away with completely different responses. One spirals into despair, convinced the world is against them. The other sees a lesson, a doorway to growth. The difference lies not in what happens, but in what's happening inside. Every frustration, every flare of emotion is a message from within. A signal pointing to what we have yet to master. This inward turn, this bringing the unconscious into the light, is what Jung called shadow work. The shadow self, the hidden part of our psyche, harbors fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds we bury beneath our daily lives. When someone triggers us, they aren't creating the pain. They're revealing it. They touch a wound we've long ignored. Most people flee from these signals. They suppress their anger, ignore their hurt, or blame the world for their turmoil. But those who dare to look closer, to observe rather than react, uncover a profound truth. The external world is a mirror of our internal state. Nothing can affect us unless it finds something within to cling to. The insult lands not because of the insult itself, but because we fear its truth. The rejection stings not because of the rejection, but because we seek approval. Shadow work is emotional alchemy, a transformative act of facing what we've hidden and turning it into wisdom. It begins with a simple shift. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" we ask, "What inside me is reacting right now?" Imagine a moment of frustration. Someone disrespects you and anger rises. Feel the heat of that emotion, but don't let it consume you. Observe it like a scientist studying a rare specimen. Where does this anger come from? Does it echo a deeper fear, a need to be seen as worthy? As Jung taught, our triggers are not the problem. They're the path. They lead us to the parts of ourselves we've yet to heal, the shadows we've yet to embrace. What might you discover if you stopped running from your reactions and started listening to them? Most of us spend our lives trying to control what was never ours to command. We crave approval, so we chase the respect of others. We fear uncertainty, so we demand life follow our script. We long for fairness, so we take every slight personally, as if the universe itself conspires against us. When things don't go our way, we suffer. Anger at disrespect, betrayal at failure, despair at chaos. We believe that by controlling the external people, outcomes or circumstances, we can secure our peace. But this is the grand delusion. As Jung understood, the external world is neutral. It is neither good nor bad kind nor cruel. It simply is. What shapes our experience is the lens through which we view it, our perception. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment, as long as we remain unaware of the stories we tell ourselves. About success, love, and our worth, we react blindly, believing life is happening to us. But what if much of it is happening through us? The more we try to control the external, the more power we give it over our inner state. When we need someone to respect us, they hold the reins. When we require a situation to unfold a certain way, it owns us. When we demand life be fair, we set ourselves up for endless disappointment. Neuroscience supports this. Studies show that attempting to force control over people, outcomes or thoughts creates resistance, amplifying stress and emotional reactivity. The desperate pursuit of love often pushes it away. The fear of failure breeds self-sabotage. The clinging to control leaves us powerless. True freedom lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering how we see it. Try this moment. Imagine walking down a street, lost in your own world, when someone hurls an insult your way. They call you weak, a failure. In that instant, what happens inside you? For most, the reaction is instantaneous. Heart-racing anger flaring the mind, replaying the words like a broken record. But what if there were another way? What if instead of a spike of emotion, you felt nothing? No tension, no disturbance, just a quiet awareness that says that has nothing to do with me. This is the essence of the Stoics, Zen masters and Jung's deepest teachings. Nothing external can disturb your peace, unless you allow it. A sovereignty over the passions that bind us, a stillness beneath the storm. They teach that detaching from irrational reactions aligns us with reason, the cosmic logos that governs all. But this isn't numbness, it's sovereignty. You're not denying emotions. You're understanding them so deeply that they lose their grip. Picture a storm, thunder crashes. Winds howl, lightning sears the sky. Yet above it all, the sky remains untouched, serene. You are not the storm. You are the sky. Jung's shadow work deepens this by showing that many of our reactions originate in a false self, an unstable identity built on validation, opinions, and attachments. When someone challenges that identity, it feels like an attack. But what if you release that story? What if you became the observer watching the drama of life unfold without being pulled into its chaos? Here's the paradox. When you stop needing things to go your way, they often do. When you no longer fear what others think, confidence rises naturally. When you cease pursuing success from a place of lack, opportunities flow more freely. Cognitive psychology backs this up. Mindfulness and reframing reduce emotional reactivity, rewiring neural pathways over time. Insults lose their sting. Failures cease to define you. Uncertainty stops terrifying you. You become unshakable, not because the world changes, but because you do. The greatest power lies not in bending the external, but in surrendering to the internal. By observing your triggers, by facing your shadows, you reclaim your energy. You stop being a pawn in life's game and become the player. Or better yet, the watcher. Above it all, seeing patterns before they unfold. Step into this moment. Feel the weight of your reactions. The anger that flares, the hurt that lingers, the fear that whispers. What story are you telling yourself? Is it the world that disturbs you or the shadows within? Shadow work is not a destination. It's a journey, a quiet unraveling of the unconscious. A gentle alchemy that turns pain into power. Jung himself said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." What if that privilege begins by facing what you've hidden? What if the path to freedom lies not in controlling the storm, but in becoming the stillness beneath it? Dare to observe, to reflect, to release. What might you uncover if you stopped reacting and started truly seeing? By exploring the shadows of your mind, you begin to learn how to alchemize your emotions. You'll come to see that your reactions are often tied to your need for control. But what if you could release that need? What if, instead of trying to master every outcome, you learned to surrender to the flow of life? What would happen if on any given day you simply let go? Not of your possessions, not of your dreams, but of the invisible chains that bind you to control. Picture yourself at the edge of a decision. Your hands tense around a plan. Your mind racing with possible futures, trying to predict what comes next. Have you ever wondered what would unfold if you released that grip? Not out of defeat, not out of despair, but out of a quiet trust in the unknown. The pull toward control is strong, but surrender has a strange, almost haunting power. It's as if stepping back from the urge to command unlocks a door to realities we've long feared. When you let go, you don't simply relinquish your plans. You awaken something deeper, something that whispers a truth too strange to ignore. This act has a name: detachment. The mindful choice to surrender to life's flow. It's not about giving up. It's about trusting what you can't see. When you cling to control, you're tethered to an illusion, a belief that you can shape what lies beyond your reach. But what if that illusion is what's truly preventing you from living? Detachment invites you to step into the unknown, to let the universe unfold in ways you could never script. It's a chilling thought. What if everything you've been fighting to hold on to is what's holding you back? The weight of control is heavier than we realize. Every plan you've clung to, every outcome you've feared, carries a burden that pulls you from the present. It's a silent thief, stealing your peace, your joy, your simple being. When you surrender, that weight begins to lift. Gradually, in whispers, in moments of unexpected clarity. You may feel a flicker of fear, a tremor of uncertainty. But beneath it lies a freedom that feels both strange and beautiful. Surrender doesn't erase the unknown. It reveals its magic. What if the very thing you've been avoiding is where your true power lies? Philosophers have long whispered this truth. In Taoists thought Laozi saw control as a trap, a resistance to life's natural flow. In the Tao Te Ching, he wrote that letting go of what you are enables you to become what you might be. For Laozi, surrender wasn't weakness. It was wisdom, a way to align with the Tao, the mysterious rhythm of the universe. He believed that control creates tension, a struggle against what is, while detachment frees us to flow with what could be. What if Laozi was right? What if surrender is the doorway to a deeper truth? The mystery of surrender runs deeper than we imagine. When you let go, you don't merely release your need to control. You open a door to the unknown. And the unknown is a strange place, a realm where reality doesn't follow the scripts we've written for it. Quantum physics tells us the universe is unpredictable. Particles exist in multiple states, their paths uncertain until observed. What if your mind works the same way? What if every time you try to control, you limit what's possible? Surrender invites a kind of magic, a chance to see what unfolds when you stop writing the script. What strange forces might awaken when you release your grip? This act of surrender has a ripple effect affecting not just you, but the world around you. When you let go, you shift the energy of your relationships, your interactions, your very presence. Others might notice your absence, not because you've disappeared, but because you've changed the dance. They've relied on your control, your predictability, to anchor their own sense of stability. When you surrender, you invite them to face their own illusions, their own need to control. It's a haunting truth. Your detachment doesn't just free you. It exposes the chains others don't see. Let's turn the mirror on you. What does it feel like to hold on so tightly? The plans you've made, the outcomes you've feared. How heavy do they feel in your hands? Surrender is a choice and a challenge. It asks you to trust what you cannot see, to release what you've clung to step into the unknown. Without a map, maybe you felt that pull to control, the need to know, to predict, to manage. What if that need is precisely what's keeping you from the magic of what could be? What if the strangest truth is that freedom lies in letting go? I invite you to reflect. What are you holding that you could release? What illusions of control are keeping you from the unknown? Surrender doesn't merely change you. It changes how you perceive the world. Imagine a quiet morning. Your breath, even your coffee, cooling the world still asleep. You're gripping a worry, a fear, a plan so tight it aches. Now picture this, you release it. Let it drift like a leaf on a stream. What does that feel like? The Stoics spoke of apatheia, freedom from the passions that bind us. Epictetus warned that suffering comes not from things themselves, but from our judgments about them. What if he's right? What if the weight you carry isn't the thing itself, but the story you tell about it? Detachment in the Stoic heart isn't coldness. It's clarity, a gentle untangling of the threads that tie you to what you cannot hold. It's the awe of standing before a universe too vast to grasp, and the honesty of a mind that dares to think it can. Take a deep breath. Feel the pull of desire, the craving for approval, the fear of failure, the need to be seen. The Buddhists named this tanha, the thirst that binds us to suffering, and they offered Nikkama renunciation as a path to release. Imagine the Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree. Patient present breath as rhythm heart as mirror. He saw that every attachment, every need to control, is a whisper of the ego, a shadow we mistake for light. What if you let that shadow fade? What if you floated in the stream of life, carried by a flow you can't name? There's a stillness here, a quiet humming with possibility. It's the space where fear softens, where the heart learns to trust. If this resonates, leave a comment with the phrase, "I surrender to the dance." Write it if you feel the pull to let go, to trust the mystery. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're diving deeper into the strange truths that transform us. But this path isn't without its edge, a critique of the self that clings, a warning about the suffering that comes when we refuse to release. So pause. Feel the weight you've carried, the plans, the fears, the stories. What would it mean to set them down? Not as a loss, but as a gift. To stand before the unknown with open hands. As you learn to let go and trust the unknown, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind opens to new possibilities, and you start to access deeper layers of consciousness. It's as if by releasing your grip, you invite strange forces to awaken from within. We've all felt it, from staring out a window, to sketching in a notebook, to lying awake at night with thoughts racing. Suddenly a shift occurs. A break from the straight lines we're told to follow. You sense something vast, something beyond, and realize the world you know might just be a shadow of what's really there. No one else seems to notice. They're locked in routines, in neat little boxes of thought, while you glimpse a stage with no edges. No script, just endless curtains peeling back into infinity. This sensation has a name, the multidimensional mindset. The sudden awareness that the mind isn't confined to a single track, but wanders across realms too strange to pin down. Think of the people you've passed today, their hurried steps, their flickering screens, their voices rising in a chorus of noise. Each mind hums along, chasing deadlines, while yours begins to wander into places they'd never dare look. What if every thought, every spark of imagination connects to something bigger? What if this theatre of the mind has no walls, no ceiling, just a sprawling web of unseen dimensions? What is this web? How real are the boundaries we draw around our thoughts? The linear illusion most of us assume. Our minds work in straight lines from point A to point B, cause to affect reality, stacked neatly like bricks. It feels safe, obvious, normal. But what if that's a trick? What if the mind isn't a train on a track, but more like a receiver, tuning into frequencies, organizing them into a map? Across history, thinkers have questioned this tidy picture. Albert Einstein himself bent our understanding, showing space-time as a fabric that twists and folds under the weight of thought. And he didn't stop at physics. He hinted at something deeper, saying, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, while imagination embraces the entire world. What if imagination isn't merely a tool, but a doorway to dimensions we've been trained to ignore? The linear mind insists. There's one path, one truth, one reality. But step off that track and strange things begin to happen. Ideas collide, time dilates, and the walls of possibility crumble like sand. If Einstein's universe dances across dimensions, why can't your mind? What if reality isn't a line but a symphony, and you're only hearing the first notes? Beyond the veil, imagine yourself in a room, alone, closing your eyes and watching the wall dissolve. Shapes swirl, colours bleed, and a landscape unfolds. Not outside you, but within. This isn't daydreaming, it's a living, waking state. The multidimensional mindset says this isn't random. It's a glimpse of a realm beyond the physical where thought bends existence itself. But here's the catch. If your mind can leap like this, what's holding it back? Society trains us to stay in line, to think small, to colour inside the edges. Yet the moment you break free, the rules shift. A problem you couldn't solve untangles in a flash. A fear that gripped you dissolves into mist. It's as if the more you stretch your mind, the more the world stretches with you. What if this isn't simply in your head? What if every time you imagine you're tapping into something real? A fabric that threads through us all. Einstein's space-time wasn't static. It flexed and flowed. Perhaps your consciousness does the same, reaching beyond what you can touch or see. Imagine every thought you've ever had as a thread stretching outward, connecting to every other mind, every other moment. Not merely yours, but everyone's. The multidimensional mindset suggests we're not solo performers under a single spotlight. We're players in a cosmic orchestra, each note rippling across an infinite stage. This isn't fantasy, it's possibility. Science has its own strange way of backing it up. Quantum entanglement shows particles linked across vast distances, their states shifting in sync no matter how far apart. If particles can do it, why not thoughts? What if your imagination is entangled with something bigger, something that defies the rules we cling to? John Wheeler. The physicist who named black holes quipped that we live in a participatory universe. He meant reality isn't fixed. It responds to what we ask of it. Your mind, when it breaks free, might not simply see the world, it might shape it. Every leap of thought, every wild idea, could be a stitch in a tapestry. We're all weaving together. The mind's deep end holds a sublime possibility. But it also holds something eerie if your mind is multidimensional, who's watching when you're not. If imagination touches infinity, who stands on the other side? The room you inhabit feels solid, yet close your eyes and it vanishes. The thoughts you chase feel fleeting. But what if they are echoes of something eternal? Panpsychism, an idea that mind, or a form of experience, may be a fundamental feature of all matter, whispers a chilling possibility. Maybe the universe itself is thinking too. Maybe every time you stretch your mind, it's stretching back, listening, weaving your story into its own. What if the multidimensional mindset isn't just yours, but shared by everything that exists? This raises a question: if your thoughts can roam unbound, what stops them? Is it fear, habit, or something else? A force we haven't named? The farther you explore, the stranger it becomes. A memory flickers and suddenly feels sharper than the present. A dream lingers and you swear it wasn't merely a dream. The cosmic mirror returns to that moment. The window you looked from, the notebook you sketched, in the night you lay awake with thoughts spiraling. You felt it, the pull of something vast. The multidimensional mindset insists that pull is real. Every mind you've ever brushed past, every spark you've ignited, ties into a web we can barely grasp. Here's the twist: we aren't separate from this web. We're threads in it. Our thoughts, questions, and leaps don't just reflect reality. They might bend it. The universe seems to look back at us, a mirror of infinite faces. And perhaps, just perhaps, we're looking at ourselves. This isn't settled science. It's a frontier, a wild edge where theory meets wonder. We don't have all the answers. Maybe we never will. But the strangeness is the point. The multi-dimensional mindset doesn't promise clarity. It offers possibility, a chance to see beyond the lines we've drawn. So next time you feel that shift, that break from the ordinary, don't pull back. Lean in. Ask what's out there. What's in here? The answers might be stranger than you think, and they may invite you to step beyond the maps you've ever trusted, into a realm where thought itself becomes a bridge to the unknown. The invitation is open and the possibility is vast, closer than you realize. In this digital era, that odd strangeness threads through every glow and ping tugging at us. Even as our screens promise connection, while binding us to endless scrolls, drowning the mind's wild leaps in a flood of noise. What if the tools meant to free us are the new boundaries? Algorithms curate our reality not to illuminate, but to echo our own thoughts back at us, locking us into loops we barely notice until they quietly shape our days, moods and choices. The mind, a multidimensional traveler, fights to break through the static craving. Fresh insights, forgotten memories, and the sense that meaning isn't measured by the next notification. Yet the more we plug in, the harder it becomes to unplug from the machine. But what if the key lies within step away? Breathe and lean into the raw, unshackled source, where your mind first sparked nearer to the infinite than any circuit can reach. Thank you for wandering this surreal landscape of thought with me. If this felt like a doorway, please subscribe and give the video a like. Until next time, see you in the next dimension.